Welcome back to the Anger Man podcast with Jason and Greg. So it is now official, Jay. It was reported first by Dan Raphael, and of course, good friend of the show, Jake Donovan, that Ryan Garcia's B sample has come back positive for ostarine. And Jay, really, this isn't no surprise. Typically, if the A sample is testing positive, then also the B sample will test positive as well. So it's official now. I don't know what the course of action is for Ryan Garcia. I think there's a decision that needs to be made by the New York State Athletic Commission relative to what they're going to do in regards to the result of the fight. More than likely, they are going to turn the results of the fight over. I believe Devin Haney will then move back to being undefeated, and Ryan Garcia will be disqualified for ostarine. And that's the correct thing to do at the end of the day, whether you believe that the ostarine had a major impact in the fight or not. I believe a few, I think 12 days off from the fight or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about this, but I thought they tested him and he did not test positive for ostarine. So that meant that, if true, that means that over that 12-day period, he would have had the ostarine in his system. So whether you believe that 12 days is enough or not to actually get the benefits of ostarine, I know a lot of you believe that just injecting any kind of performance enhancing drug into you just automatically turns you into a monster, like Devin Haney's coach said. In reality, it doesn't. But at the end of the day, he has to be suspended, Jay, period, because, you have to be held accountable for whatever's in your system the night of the fight. Whether it was a situation where it was a contaminant or not, you are going to be held responsible for that. So it is what it is. It should be done in the way that it should be done. I know that, Devin and Bill have been on a campaign here recently to really promote the fact that he was on that and to really change the mind of the general public in terms of how that fight played out. I don't think that's even necessary. Just let it play out the way that it needs to play out, and regardless of who says what, at the end of the day, the right thing needs to be done by the New York State Athletic Commission. So that's how I see it, Jay. What are your thoughts on this new information, if you will? Not really new, because I don't think anybody really felt like anything different was going to come back from the B sample. But how do you
No.
feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just confirmation. Pretty much what everyone expected. Typically if the A sample is positive, the B sample is going to be positive as well. Yeah, I mean, he had any amount of that in the system, ostarine, he needs to be suspended, whether it be 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever. He still needs to be suspended, and the no contest, DQ, however they want to do it for Devin. I mean, it still doesn't change the fact that Devin still need to work on some things in his own holding that right hand up. It still needs to be done, whether he was on ostarine or not. But that's just foul. I don't know what benefits he could have gotten from it, but it's in the system, man. That's a hard line where you can't cross. Anybody in your system, you're out of there. So that's what should happen to Ryan on that. And Ryan, honestly, they need to really give him a hard penalty on this, just because of the way he's not really respecting the whole process of this. He's making a joke of everything, and PEDs are serious. Whether he thinks or knows he's 100%, he didn't take anything, it was in by contamination or not, you still need to respect the process. This is not something you play around with at all. I mean, he tweeted and deleted tweets talking about he had sex with steroids only once. Crazy, bruh. I would swallow all steroids. He effing loves steroids. You can't be constantly doing that, talking about he just high and all this extra stuff. So it's his credibility is shot already because all the stuff he was doing even before he popped positive for that stuff. So he's not helping his case at all, and he needs to learn to respect the process and respect the sport more, because he's not respecting the sport at all, making a mockery of it. If you feel like you're been wrong, go through the proper channels on that. And don't do stuff to kind of like ha 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 and try like you can get away with anything. When that's not the case. He said some questionable stuff talking about what if all steroid league would be cool, whether he's joking around or not. You can't put that out there when you're going through these type of things he's going through as far as the testing positive and trying to figure out what's going to be next for him in the sport of boxing that he says he loves so much. If you love it so much, you respect it. Respect the rules of the game and work to try to clear your name and start saying, hey, this had to be a contamination. That's how you do it. You don't sit there and just poke fun at it and make it sound like it's not a big deal. It's a big deal because this is a substance that no matter what amount you have in your system, it's illegal. Regardless if it gives you an advantage or not, you can't have it in your system at all. That's just one of those drugs that's like that. So he's making a mockery and joke about everything. I hope they do come down with still a tough penalty for him, just so he can try to learn something. respect something on there. It's not going to change. To me, it's not going to change what actually happened in the ring. We saw what happened in the ring and how Devin looked. Devin had a bad night in the office. With the ostarine or not that Ryan had. So now they need to go ahead and do the no contest, disqualify him, how whether it's going to be no contest, disqualify how they want to do it, get it done, so we can move on to this and give him his sentence, this penalty, and move on with this.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think you took a interesting approach to it in regards to just his whole antics in regards to the testing protocol. I mean, at the end of the day, you're right; it is serious, and it's not something to dismiss. And I know that that's a part of his character, if you will, the one that he's presenting to the general public. But you got to take it seriously, and so. Yeah, I wouldn't be in disagreement of there being a really stiff punishment for Ryan Garcia, regardless of how he got into his system, whether it's contaminated or not, whether he purposely did it or not, whether it had any benefit or not. Um, he needs to be fined stiffly and given a stiff penalty, maybe a suspension for a year. Because even then, he was talking about he doesn't give a damn about being suspended. He can start his own league. So, you can't do that, man. You can't do that. Now, I will say this finally. I know there's going to be a lot of Devin Haney fans that feel vindicated by the situation. If it were me, I wouldn't feel vindicated by it because there are plenty of people that are out there that has the same left hook and power as Ryan Garcia with the speed. So Devin's going to have to improve regardless because when he meets the guy that has that same technique or power and speed that is not on ostarine, and there are guys that, I mean, the bigger the higher he goes up, he's going to start fighting those guys. And I think there's a number of those guys like Tiafimo. I think Tiafimo has speed and punching power that if he could catch Devin, he'll be able to hurt him. So, I mean, Devin's going to have to improve on some aspects of his game. So I wouldn't feel fully vindicated. I'd be worried
Nah.
what happens the next time Devin Haney gets in the ring with somebody that has the skill set. Could it be
Yeah, I
a short
mean,
night?
yeah, I mean, to your point, Devin's a big, a heavy 140 pounder. He was a heavy 135 pounder. So we definitely know he needs to do something as far as be protective of himself when he's in that ring, like he did against Regis. But Regis, like we've all said after we watched the fight, he was tailor made for him. He didn't have the boxing ability or the speed or the length, pause, that Ryan had in the fight. To your point, there's other fighters such as you mentioned, Teofimo Lopez, that has power. There's a guy named Boots Ennis that has power in both hands, that has throws a left hook, uppercut, the whole nine. So it's more to it than that. And also, it's like I would like to see Devin really be like, I want my get back. I want to have everything. I want my get back, and I want to have strict, clear. I'm gonna make sure everyone's a clean fighter, and I gotta get my get back on this. He got to be true with himself. The deficiencies that he had in that fight. It wasn't just all the ostarine. We know the ostarine was there, so Ryan gotta get out of here. He gotta take that win he had. I gotta be taken away from him. But Devin gotta be real with himself. Sit down, watch the tape, and see his deficiencies and work on that for his next fight.
I agree. You guys tell us what you think in the comment section in regards to this. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast on Sports Media, and we are out.